My name is Myke. I am a native of Atlanta, Georgia. My educational background is plant sciences with a concentration of horticulture and pre-veterinary medicine from Tennessee State University. But my real passion in life has kind of always been to paint, but I really couldn't do that because I spent most of my time having a lot of seizures and side effects. I was spending more time healing and recovering from side effects and more tests and things like that till I really didn't have any time to do my passion. And so my home became my prison and my palace. When the opportunity came along to take a more holistic treatment where I didn't have to choose between that compromise that I was constantly having to make. One medication, it worked, but it made me lose weight. So I had to choose between being super emaciated or not having seizures. But either way, I didn't have any energy. Or there was a medication where it worked, but I couldn't sleep. So I had to choose. So with a holistic treatment, there was no compromise. And for the first time, I found myself slowly being able to go within my passion to the point where 90% of my time is more going within my passion, sketching, drawing, painting something, because I'm upright, I'm alert, I don't have any side effects except for sleeping and eating, and I don't think that's really a side effect. My whole quality of life, I think the one thing that I gained the most is a true quality of life. My life went from 4 walls to pretty much the whole world now, and even I didn't have that type of life before. Prior to, I worked for Delta Airlines. I flew every week to some new destination. Even before that, I studied abroad in several different African countries, Europe, all type of things. So having seen the world and having to be confined to a box was not really a quality of life I wanted. Attempted suicide 11 times because the medications pretty much, I think some of them was due to depression, which came from the medications. Some of them was anxiety, which came from the medications. The side effect causes, it's like, oh, because I'm depressed because I'm skinny. I'm depressed because all I can do is eat. I'm depressed, to the point where not only was I not living in my passion, I wasn't even living. So 11 very unsuccessful attempts. And I'm kind of glad because it makes me realize that had I may have made that 12th attempt, I probably wouldn't have been around to even try something new. And so it was at that point where I was, what do I got to lose, So I probably was, they started probably around 19. That's where, the life-changing thing that happened for them to even start. And originally it was like, I just blacked out, just with friends, and we thought it was heat exhaustion, we thought it was dehydration. They ran all type of tests, and they couldn't find anything. And so we just thought it was just an episode, as we call it in the South, an episode. So around about 24, that's when the seizures the frequency started to pick up, probably about 25, right after college. Even more, like 2 or 3 a day. Had to go out on medical leave lots of times, FMLA, then I would come back, they would try a new medication, and it would work for a while, and I think I would be able to go back to work, and the seizures would come back again, so much where I was having 4 or 5 a day in the workplace and having to leave early and going home. I'm 33, 34, my 4th year at Delta. I had a really, really big seizure where I literally blacked out, and when I came to remember who I was, it was 5 days later. And at that point, my supervisor, my mom, my dad, my coworkers, it was like, don't come back, because if this is picking up to this frequency, you might hit your head. Pretty much what I did, and if that was happening, I was becoming a liability. And that's when they started the sleep studies. They started the spinal taps, countless MRIs, medications, boosters, antidepressants, anti-seizure, combinations with extra boosters. And at one point in time, I was taking 9 pills a day in addition to vitamins and supplements to correct all of the deficiencies that I was having, folate, potassium, vitamin D, vitamin E, calcium, everything you think of, trace minerals, all minerals. I was deficient in every single one of them. Couldn't keep down food, but it's working. And that's all the doctors were saying. It's working, you know. My quality of life pretty much, if there was a scale of 1 to 10, my quality of life was a -5. There wasn't any. I didn't go out. People stopped coming over because they didn't want to see me that way, because pretty much people had to sit on the edge of my bed because I could barely leave my bedroom. I couldn't cook for myself, clean for myself, but I still had that want to be independent. At 44 seizures a week, there was no time to do anything but blackout. I mean, it'd be days, 4 or 5 days. You know, I'll be watching one show on a Tuesday, and next thing I know it's Friday, and I'm still just coming to. So my quality of life, I don't even think it was life. I think I was just existing, which is not really what we're here for. But when I began the treatment, I took it before I went to bed. And normally my sleep pattern is I've never in my life slept more than 4 hours. 4 hours is like golden for me. And for the very first time, like at that point, 3 years, I was 37. In my 37 years at that time, I had never received 8 hours of full rest. I had 4 hours of sleep. I had 2-hour naps. And that was like the biggest difference, that I jumped up, I made breakfast, I folded clothes, I walked around the block. I did so many things that I couldn't do just 8 hours before. So there was a difference instantly. I woke up a brand new person. So at its peak, when I was having up to 44 seizures a week, I started doodling my art. It was more so something to pretty much keep my mind off of the pain, the depression, pretty much not even able to leave the bed. All my meals had to be brought to me. So all I had was a notepad and a felt tip pen. My biggest progression is once I really started taking the treatments, everything started to flow a little bit better. My characters started to flow. They started losing more of their angular looks. Everything started to have a little bit more curves and free flow. The frequency increased, where something would take me weeks to complete, it would now take me 3 days. And the more I start taking the treatments, pretty much if I can process it and I can see it, I can probably sketch it out in a couple of minutes, maybe an hour, and given 24 hours, I can probably put it into a final product. And I didn't have the energy to do that before. I definitely didn't have the attention span to do it before. So it's night and day. It's night and day. Pre-seizure, towards the beginning, and now it's night and day. So, yeah. I started moving up to bigger things. I went from a small notepad to copy paper to canvases, to caps, boots, canes, cell phone cases. It's like, now I can see it and I can draw it. It's one and the same. And I started to crave larger and larger canvases, different types of paint. I'm doing challenges. I never would have thought I would be doing murals, which is like really my guilty pleasure, is doing murals. And before, I didn't have the energy to stand upright, to be able to stretch out, to be able to get and move, and I would black out maybe 10 or 15 minutes after standing. So now I can do murals. I can carry my own equipment with a certain amount of pounds. I can just literally be present. I think that's the main thing. I can be present. I can be active. I can be out and about. I can intermingle with people. So I feel that everything is linear. The treatments, my art, and me as a person are all running parallels with each other. And as I can become more social and start to get out of my palace/prison of an apartment, I can start meet people and I can share my passion. I've been on the treatment for like 3 years. I think it's been almost 3 years. And it is 3 years of consistency, and it just keeps getting better, and life is I'm learning what life is like. The first night where I got 8 hours sleep and I woke up with an appetite and I woke up alert and not groggy, it made me want to do it every day. I wanted to feel that way Tuesday. I wanted to feel that way Wednesday. I wanted to feel that way in June. I wanted to feel that way in August. And I realized that just like with any medication, that people tend to validate Western medicine by doing it every day. I had to give that same respect to the holistic approach. The herbal treatments pretty much is the reasons why I tell people just keep going. So just finding something that you look forward to the next day. You know, it's only a piece of paper. It was only a felt tip pen, but I look forward to that next page or that next attempt that very next day. And it's still that same small thing carries over to my sketchbook now, is that no matter if I'm happy, if I'm sad, the bigs, the ups, the downs, it's something small that I have. Well, anybody that's dealing with any type of chronic illness, seizures, depression, because I do feel mental health is health. Physical health is just to be open-minded. When my physical health got better, my mental health got better because I was sleeping, so I wasn't cranky. I wasn't snapping at people all the time. I wasn't so short-tempered because I wasn't sleeping. I was angry at anybody that got sleep. I was angry at anybody that was able to keep their food down. I was able to, anybody, when I looked out the window, I was that person. Get off my lawn, because I couldn't go outside. So I was starting to turn into a person that I never wanted to be. That angry, bitter old person that just pretty much was jealous of the world. So I became a better person. I smile more. I'm happy. I'm back to my goofy self. I'm animated. It's like literally, it was like one of those things like a black and white cartoon when you go from the Wizard of Oz, when it goes from black and white to technicolor. That's literally how is a perfect example of my life right about now. My brain is functioning at peak capacity, I think, for my craft. So, yeah, I actually can dream of a future. So other than what a life would be like, I'm actually dreaming about what to do with a life. So, yeah.